Hello, eavesdroppers. Welcome to the channel. I hope you all are feeling like $1,000,000. All right, so on today's episode, we will be looking into the energy around Austin Metcalf, posthumously, obviously. So we're going to be looking at the altercation, the intentions, what was really going on behind Austin Metcalf's final moments. What is his take on things, in hindsight? How is he feeling, spiritually? What would he have to say about the Karmelo Anthony conviction? All of the controversies surrounding the incident that happened that took his life. I'm gonna just see, like, does he feel regret about instigating, or you know, if he could do it all over again and still be here, would he have chosen not to get involved that day, or to de-escalate the situation? I'm going to be honest with you all. My personal opinion is that I do believe that he was possibly not fully in agreement with his brother. I keep saying I think either his brother or someone else was the person who actually unalived him. Unintentionally, of course, but then again, you never know. As there is some talk about Hunter Metcalf not being the favorite twin, and it gives me like that Cain and Abel, sibling rivalry kind of thing, jealousy. So you never know. We will see over time as the truth is being slowly revealed. But let's take a look at his energy. I want to look at his energy. All right, so let me just get a few cards to set the tone, and then we will ask specific questions. Pardon me. Let's see. Austin, what do you have to say? What do you have to say about this incident that took your life? All right, so we have a coin, number 28. It's showing me money here. It could be an earth sign person involved. Obviously, Karmelo is an earth sign. He's a Taurus. Also money could be involved. Let's see what else. Something about a coin. Okay, we have the scales of justice, number 18. Interesting. So the scales are not balanced here. I do feel like he's pointing out that Karmelo was outnumbered. It was unfair. I do feel like may even represent karmic judgment. This could be how he feels in the spiritual realm. He could feel like there was a tipping point here as the scales are not completely balanced. And this could be an indication to me that maybe he felt in the moment that he was right to have his brother's back. Yeah, he's showing me the hospital at the bottom of the deck, number 9. And he feels like, in those last moments, the number 9 does represent the self. He represents it was just me. I came into this world as a part of, a twin birth, and I left by myself. It's showing me a long corridor, hallway. It's pretty dark. And I feel like he's pointing out maybe any last bit of consciousness he had, even if he was already transitioning into the spirit realm. He was in a hospital for a brief time. He's pointing out the hospital here. I do feel like there is some apologetic energy, wishing that he never participated with the scales being here and seeing how they're not balanced. There's some part of him that felt judged or felt like he misjudged the situation. Show me more. What else do you want to say about your untimely demise and the incident that led up to it? Okay, he's pointing out secret guilt. Guilt is often secret. Acknowledge it to find redemption. He's telling his brother. I feel like this is for his brother. This is not for Karmelo. He's saying that there's some secret guilt here. Because Karmelo already said that he was remorseful immediately. Yeah, they said he was crying uncontrollably at the thing when he found out how bad Austin's condition was. So he's pointing out here, he's showing me this orb of light in this tree. He's showing me a fracture in the tree, the family tree. And he's saying that, everything that we do comes back to us, because that's what the infinity, the circle, is all about. Everything is interconnected. And now that he's not in the physical realm anymore, he's understanding that harboring prejudice or bias or being a bully, as his own parents or mother has said that he was a bully and his brother were bullies. We all know that because we saw the video. But there is secret guilt here, maybe even on his part, for how he handled the situation. And I also feel like he's pointing out his brother is struggling with secret guilt. I'm also going to look at whether or not he's saying his brother is the one that did it, because I don't feel like it was Karmelo. The timing was too off. Karmelo was already running away. and they were still fighting. Well, something's not right. Okay, so we have silent confessions. Confessions can be silent but powerful. Listen to the unspoken admissions around you. He's saying it's not Karmelo that did it. He just answered my question. You get that something has already been said to tell you who did this to me. Now, I want to point out, if you are what they call a Metcalfian, if you are a supporter of that family and the wrong that was done to Karmelo, hear me out. The initial interviews that Hunter Metcalf did and his mother, they were saying a lot that doesn't line up with what they later ended up saying. Even the witnesses all changed their stories because they were threatened, allegedly. Everything I say in this reading is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. I have no proof. I did forget to say that. But yeah, I feel that he's saying pay attention to what's been said and what's not being said because confessions can be silent. He's saying, look, this brother of mine is not innocent. He caused it. How do you feel about your brother? He said, veiled desires. Ooh, I wish y'all could see this card. I wish you all could see this card. It shows me a very demonic energy. And it shows me a human person that's cowering because they feel afraid of this energy that's haunting them from the spirit realm. Is that desires can be veiled in denial. He's denying it. Recognize them to fulfill your true needs. He's saying, look, stop telling lies. Stop denying what happened because you're going to be haunted. He's having nightmares. He's being haunted. Wow. And his brother is the one that's haunting him. We have veiled threats. Threats can be veiled in subtlety. Stay vigilant to protect yourself. Okay, wow. So it does feel like I feel like there's always this lingering fear around all of these boys who took part in lying on Karmelo. I think they all, on some level, I said this in my last reading, one of my last readings about this case. I don't think they show it when they're around other people, but when they're alone, they are haunted because they know that he didn't do it. That is my opinion. It's so interesting with you. I was Googling, sometimes I Google like, what should I name my video or different questions I could ask about situations. And Google made it a point to say, no, Karmelo absolutely did kill, unalive Austin Metcalf. And the language in the media from day one in this case has been very one-sided. While I do understand he's been found guilty and he's been convicted of it, it's the way that from day one, he was already guilty without the video, without him even speaking up for himself. Let's move on. I don't want to make this too long. Okay, let's scan a little bit more. Okay. Before we move on to the questions I'm going to ask, he's showing me friendship here. Friends and dreams symbolize support and resonance. Friends remind you that you are not alone and that friendship is a source of strength. It reflects your connection to others and your emotional needs for companionship and recognition. This encourages you to cherish your true friendships and celebrate the power of mutual growth and connection. And we had the supply chain meltdown. A global supply chain collapse is underway. I don't want you to take that literally. The supply chain is Three of Pentacles energy, and that does talk about groups of people working together to corroborate each other's stories, things of that nature. This is a meltdown here. But within the chaos lies opportunity. This is a time to reestablish local networks, barter and trade, reconnect with your community, and focus on self-sufficiency. It does feel like there's something in these people's story that's imploding. Okay, they're trying to keep their friendship strong, but they have a secret. You know, this is a friendship built on this secret that they have. Okay, so we have the moon. The moon illuminates the hidden aspects of your psyche, representing deep emotions and unresolved subconscious feelings. It appears that it is calling you to confront your emotional depths. Intuition and subconscious are revealing the truth through the moon's presence, and returning to your inner peace and authenticity will be key to resolving all your questions. They don't have peace. The moon represents a feeling of unease, of fear. Yeah, we have the coma here. Coma the coma symbolizes a temporary pause or detachment from reality, representing rest, reflection, or recovery. A coma suggests that you are in a transition phase, needing to withdraw and recharge. It invites you to take a break, heal, and prepare for the challenges ahead. Though it feels like a pause, it's an opportunity for renewal. I feel like these people lay awake at night. This was on their mind, especially the person who did it, which I do believe personally, allegedly, is the brother. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, so we had the fact finder. It says focused on discovering the factual basis of any situation. Separate the fact from fiction and ensure that your conclusions are grounded in reality. Fact finding is essential for accurate understanding. He's saying that there's something, that's hidden evidence here. You cannot make this up. Search for evidence that may not be immediately obvious. Look for overlooked details and context that may shed light on the situation. Thorough investigations is key to uncovering the full truth. So he said we do not have the full truth. There's deception, there's lies, but the scales of justice will be balanced. Truth will prevail eventually. We know that the justice card, the scale, represent legal issues. So there will be something, the scales are not balanced because the right person is not incarcerated, period. Okay, well, let's move on. And let's see what else he wants to say before we ask the tarot. Oh, like 4 specific questions that I have. Okay. What else do you want to say about this? This deck is called the fake crime deck. Although this is a true crime, but let's see. He's showing me the clown. There's a red flag here. The clown represents Aquarius energy. There's an older masculine here. Maybe an Aquarius person. What do you want to say about the clown? He's showing me somebody with a gambling addiction. Okay? Somebody that's a gambler. And then he's showing me the father figure, the King of Wands. Okay. The bottom of the deck, the judge is at the bottom of the deck. There will be justice here. Let's look up the clown. So the clown is an extravagance of manic folly. Although being intoxicated by the frenzy of delirium can have its obvious downsides, the ignorance of the clown can also be blissful. It almost gives me the last laugh will be Karmelo's. Show me the gambler. So what is the gambler? Okay, so the gambler is someone who represents the success brought on by destiny and fortune. Although the felicity of good luck may bring sudden elevation, the odds may lead to an unfortunate outcome if the gambler stays at the table too long. And that just gives me that this is on borrowed time. This will not last. Everybody who has played a hand in this, I don't know, disposing of evidence or rigging the story or whatever they've done, Karmelo will get the last laugh here. Let me see what it has to say about the King of Wands in this particular deck. Okay, show somebody with vision. It says leaving behind your pride and leave behind your pride and empower others to contribute. This is not by somebody leading by example. The King of Wands is an independent thinker. He's someone who does things the right way. He shows other people how to do things the right way. There's a masculine energy here. I keep saying this. A father figure is important here. I keep saying I feel like there's a father figure who will make their child speak up. And I believe that's the beginning of the floodgates opening. It's saying that this person leads by example and other people follow suit. So there may be somebody who feels convicted. It may be because they have to speak up. It could be a fire sign father or fire sign person. And when it comes to the judge, the message of the judge is, let's see, what is the message of the judge? It says, it is a time to reflect on your past choices. When you are being brought before the judge, it is because you are being called to account for your choices and actions. Yes, this is a card of reckoning. The judge is a wake-up call. There's a possibility for second chances. But I do feel like these people are going to have to tell the truth. Okay, they will have to tell the truth. They will not get away with this. They think they're in the clear. They're not. They're not. There's things moving cosmically for Karmelo. You can tell that this kid is not a bad kid. I do not believe that he did it. I do not. So let's see. And people will disagree because they are listening to the media. It's always interesting to me how people are anti-media, anti-establishment, until race becomes a factor. And then all of a sudden, people become blinded to the fact that the media is an apparatus used for disseminating information, usually and not in accurate way. We have the Three of Cups in reverse. That's the friendships falling apart. I told you, it's going to implode. These people are going to start turning on each other. There's a love triangle here, and then we also have the Nine of Swords. So this is Mars and Gemini and Mercury in Cancer. This is about being in bad company. It's also about gossip, and this could be somebody telling the wrong person. Then we have the Knight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Sagittarius energy, the Rookie Sleuth, a fresh perspective in a tangled web. Let's get into these cards. So when it comes to the friendship here, it says trust is shattered, leaving chaos in its wake. That's the same thing that the other card said, the Three of Pentacles. This is a love triangle that holds the key to the mystery. So something about a love triangle shows up again. We talked about the open relationship. I asked the question in that reading, was Karmelo's girlfriend entertaining Eddie behind Karmelo's back? They have to look into that. There's something here, allegedly. It says conflicting loyalties complicate the investigation, a scandalous affair with devastating consequences. Three players with intertwined motives. There's three masculines here. Who are the three men that are intertwined? This is the emotional fallout of a high-profile betrayal. Jealousy and passion lead to shocking actions. Tangled emotions obscure the truth. And then we have the fatal decision. An informant with critical knowledge comes forward. I told you, thank you, I told you, someone is going to tell. They're nervous though. The Nine of Swords is anxiety and nerves and fear. Someone's silence conceals vital truths. A hidden agenda shapes the unfolding case. Subtle clues hidden in plain sight. The burden of knowledge carried in secrecy. So this is a burden on them. The Nine of Swords is the dark night of the soul. It represents the energy of not being able to sleep at night. I told you, they're lying in bed at night thinking about what they've done. This is guilt. This is remorse. This is revelations with devastating consequences, in a long-kept secret finally gets exposed. I love it. The last card we have is the Rookie Sleuth, and it just gives me that the investigation was done very sloppily. Yeah. I feel like there were a lot of mistakes made. But let's look at this card. It says, risk-taking explorer jumps into investigations without fully considering the risk. The investigation and training, a newcomer to the world of crime and intrigue, somebody learning the ropes. So this is somebody that's not even a good detective. Obsessed with truth, will stop at nothing to uncover the facts no matter the cost. Ambitious rookie, shows promise but lacks the experience to navigate dark conspiracies. Public scrutiny draws attention due to brash, controversial methods in the investigation. Wow, I love this so much. A naive idealist, believes in the nobility of their cause, unaware of the potential dangers. Hidden enemies, faces sabotage from powerful forces seeking to keep the truth buried. Listen to this, y'all. I chase sparks of inspiration even if they ignite a fire I can't control. These people are creating their own demise. The saying goes, when you dig a grave for someone, dig a second one for yourself, because you're ultimately choosing your ultimate demise as well. Wow. So there's a strong fire sign showing up in this reading, and there's also the King of Cups here, and we did talk about the King of Cups in a previous reading regarding this case, and that represents the father figure as well. Somebody falling from grace in the spotlight, emotional manipulation, the public villain, romanticized criminal empire. The reputation is on the line. It says, even in the spotlight of public scrutiny, my choices haunt the shadows. A master of influence, wielding emotional strength for both good and ill. Let's move on and let's get a few more cards from a few more decks before we actually go into the questions that I want to ask. I know this is kind of long, but this case has really been bothering me. I just, I feel like we're watching a modern day lynching. I feel like this has been such a setback I really do. The way this case was handled, it was bumbled. Okay, so let's see. What else do we need to know about this case? We have access granted, social media, fake profile, and hiding. I do know that Hunter, he keeps his profile open. He seems like he might be a bit of a malignant narcissist like his dad. We have ambition. I also feel like this access granted could be, there's a lot of keys here. It feels like information could come out. It could, something that's hidden is going to be exposed because of someone's ambition to find out the answers. Well, we have a facade, beliefs. This person is wearing a mask. Bottom of the deck, we have protect your feelings. And this card is about vulnerability and keeping a close guard around your feelings. Yeah, they're going to, this is going to implode on these people. It will implode. All right, the last card is unknowing. The path ahead is unclear. There are roadblocks. And I've already told you all that. There's going to be delays in this case because there's a lot of things at stake here we have to understand. Once the truth comes out, it exposes all of the deception. And that means that somebody has to be held to account for what they've done. Anything else we need to know from this deck before we move on? We have civil unrest. The playbook is simple. Inflame differences, push outrage, and let the people tear themselves apart while new systems slide into place. I love this card too, because I do think they keep us fixated on race. They keep us fixated on these isms, these schisms that, I just like they're trying to incite what I believe is a race war. Yeah, and this is what civil unrest is. This is like people turning on each other because the powers that be are pushing everybody's buttons. But then we have peaceful protests at the bottom of the deck. True power doesn't always roar. Some of the most transformative movements in the world were won not by the fists, but by unwavering presence of people united in purpose. So Spirit is saying, listen, you two have a common enemy that's between you. And at the end of the day, truth is the great equalizer, the scales of justice. And so there is something here. The number 18 is the moon, and that's the number on the scales. And the scales are not balanced. The moon represents lies, deception, hidden truths, things that are vague or uncertain. So Spirit is saying these scales will not be balanced until there's something made right. And you all need to be working on the same accord to get to the bottom. What happened in Frisco, Texas, in Collin County, what happened to Karmelo could happen to any of us. And we need to understand that when someone's civil rights or civil liberties are exploited or they are maligned, if you malign one person, you malign them all. People have to stop seeing only within the confines of race or socioeconomic status. What they do to one, they'll do to all. So we better off as a united front than being fragmented in our own corners of the world or living in a vacuum. We have to understand that there's a bigger picture here. There's a bigger play. Okay, I love that we ended with peaceful protests right after civil unrest. Eventually, people will understand who the true enemy is. It makes me think of Cat Williams when he said there's only two sides. It's God's side and it's the other side. And we don't care anything about the other side. This is how we have to operate as the American public. We have to understand the common enemy doesn't care about any of us. And that'll be something that people recognize far too late. But this could turn, I do feel like they keep trying to stoke the fires of some kind of race war or civil unrest. All right. This is the last deck before I ask the few questions that I have. All right, so Austin Metcalf, show me your energy beforehand. Show me your energy before the incident, leading into the incident that day. What was your energy? We have the Five of Pentacles. He wasn't in a good mood. He was not in a good mood. It says that he was suffering from a string of bad luck or maybe financial hardships or some kind of loss. It could even be like having a losing record. I do believe that they said that Karmelo, now we don't know if this is true because I don't believe anything these people say, but the Five of Pentacles could be that he felt mocked. He felt like he was on the outside. Could also be that he's looking at this Five of Pentacles, which is Taurus energy. Karmelo is a Taurus. seeing Karmelo as the outsider, seeing this outsider, this person that he felt like did not belong, as it does represent outcast energy. One of the messages of the Five of Pentacles is when it rains, it pours. It was raining that day. It almost feels like he's saying that either he felt like they had a losing streak, maybe he was feeling like a sore loser, maybe he felt like it was him against the world and he had a chip on his shoulder, and, you know, Karmelo possibly mocking the fact that they had a losing team, you know, was really got up under his skin. Or he could be pointing out here that they should have just taken this person in and been friendly. As most people who have children that run track will tell you, it is not uncommon for children to be under each other's tents in situations like this, okay? So this is how he was feeling. I don't think he was in the best of spirits that day. Showing me that he was on a losing streak and he had a victim mentality. Okay? It says just the three of us. Wow, so we have the third wheel always hovering around. An unwanted guest. My goodness, you cannot make this up. Third party annoyance butting in, overstaying their welcome. I am blown away. I am blown away by these cards that are coming out. So who are the three of us? Remember, the other card said something about three. There are three main people we need to worry about. I understand that there was 4 of them. I understand there was a total of 6 of them, but 2 veered off their own way. Apparently, allegedly, to distract the coaches from stopping the altercation. So he's showing me that he was very disagreeable. He was very nasty. He was in a very bad mood, and he felt like, why are you here? But why did you feel that way? Was it race-related? Was it team-related? Was it just that you were in a bad mood? Why were you feeling this way? Because this is not an uncommon practice at track meets. Deep inside, it was something inside of him. It was his own issues. What is this about? This is hidden information. Is it the High Priestess? Playing both sides against the middle. There was an instigator, y'all. Who is the instigator? Eddie. Eddie. Manipulation, antagonism, adversarial, playing dirty to win, two-faced, ulterior motives, pitting people against each other for one's own benefit, a snake, and gossip. Libra, Aquarius, Gemini energy, or Venus in Aquarius. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. This is somebody that wants to win at all costs. This is a sore loser, like I just said. There was animosity, there was tension. He had a nasty disposition. I'm just going to be honest with you. He had a very nasty disposition. And inside he knew he was wrong. But the High Priestess here, he knew he was wrong. Wow. So once you approached Karmelo, what happened between you and all of the boys that were with you? How did this escalate to you being unalived? He says shock value, provocation, going to extremes, sensationalism, hype, over-the-top controversy, and drama. I would say, yeah. He was shocked that Karmelo did not respond to his provocation. Karmelo never stood up. You have the Five of Swords is violence as well. It also talks about a DV situation. So I do feel like this boy has a lot of internalized, he and his brother, a lot of internalized issues based on their father's treatment of their mother, who was allegedly a DV sufferer at the hands of their father. Show me more. We have concrete plans, a workable, brilliant idea, well thought out, preparedness, brainstorming, maximizing potential, green light, determination, concentration, definitive, detailed, and solid, and premeditated. This was premeditated. They set Karmelo up. It was that damn Eddie. They set Karmelo up. This is terrible. Give me 2 more. Okay, so we have a reservoir. It says here, a cornucopia, a large supply, excess, overflow, something in reserve, stock, hoard, accumulate. This is about a backup plan. I feel like the way they surrounded Karmelo didn't leave room for him to leave even if he wanted to. They were covering him from every angle. I think that's why he didn't stand up. That was one of the reasons why. Show me more. It says, be careful with me. Oh my God. Oh my God. This overwhelms me with emotion, y'all, because these cards just speak to truly what was happening that day. Karmelo warned them. He said, we're good as long as you don't put your hands on me. There's a narrative in the media that said that Karmelo said, touch me and find out. That is not what was said in court. Someone who was in the courtroom said that is not what was said. What Karmelo actually said verbatim was, as long as you don't put your hands on me, we cool. Now there's a I forget what the saying is, but there's a disconnect sometimes between the races when people don't understand certain vernacular that we use in our community. Even if he did say, touch me and find out, that wasn't an invitation to a fight. That was an invitation to stand down. He was saying, leave me alone. But listen to this. Be careful with me, the Queen of Swords, Libra energy. A warning, not a threat. You hear that? A warning, not a threat. A fragile or sensitive partner who doesn't give second chances. Trust issues. Warning a partner in your defense that your defenses are up and you're prepared to walk away if need be. Guarded vulnerability, a hyper-vigilant approach to protecting your heart. Think about what happened to Austin. Where was he stabbed? Knowing your worth, that you're irreplaceable and your standards are high and tolerance is low. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Bottom of the deck, this card that I'm about to read to you all, I'm just blown away. The card says penis envy. Taurus, Libra energy, the Empress in reverse, distorted feminine, neglectful, daddy issues, toxic femininity. And toxic femininity is not relegated only to women at all. But this is power hungriness, superficial materialism, hate or envy, engaging in gender wars or power struggles, resents a patriarchal paradigm but takes it to extremes. And a blocked heart chakra, again, the heart. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's get in tarot and ask my questions so I can let you all go. This has been a lot. This reading has been a lot. I keep piecing this case apart because I want to see from everybody's perspective. And it looks like even Austin here is showing what Karmelo was saying about the case, or what he's making a case for Karmelo's defense. He was not in a good headspace when he approached him. None of them were. And it was premeditated, allegedly. Okay. The first question is, what energy did Karmelo bring into the tent? Okay, so reveal whether there was premeditated aggression or if a sudden chaotic spike of panic and ego caused harm to have him to pull the knife from his backpack. Well, I don't believe he pulled the knife from his backpack. If you listen to the testimony, they said that Austin snatched his backpack and said, there ain't nothing in there. This is Frisco, and threw the backpack. They're even saying they threw his cell phone. They snatched his cell phone. This is robbery. In Texas, that is grounds for you to defend yourself. That is a stand your ground state. They move the goalposts all the time. But let me hold back my own feelings. It really gets under my skin. But they threw his backpack. So how could he have pulled something out of his backpack? Let's just look at the question now. What energy did Karmelo bring? I think Karmelo was minding his business. Okay, so we have the Chariot here. Cancer energy. And we have the Knight of Cups. He was invited into the tent. That's what he brings. He came into the tent because someone called him over. The Knight of Cups is an invitation. It's an invitation. It's somebody extending kindness to you, being welcoming, being graceful, being diplomatic. Wow. He was invited into that. He was pulled into the lion's den, unknowingly. He thought Eddie was his friend. Pisces and Cancer energy. He came in diplomatic. The Knight of Cups is very unproblematic in the upright. He does not like confrontation at all. You know what the Chariot represents, though? He had a strong disposition. They read him wrong. They felt like he was trying to create drama, as the Chariot can represent conflict. It can represent warfare. It can represent somebody with a very strong, determined, unstoppable disposition. They also saw him as a victor. It represents victory and success. They felt like losers. They felt like he was a winner. But he came in friendly with the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is very diplomatic. He's even a mediator. Show me more. What energy did Karmelo bring into the tent? You have the Judgment card. This is spiritual. I keep saying this in all of these cases, especially with a lot of the racial undertones. This is spiritual. Okay. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. He came in the name of friendship. Eddie invited him in. Seven of Pentacles is a card of friendship. It's a card of workmanship as well. The Chariot card can even represent the sport, being at a sporting event. He did not have any ill intentions at all. It's just a decision that cost him, that's all. He came in the name of friendship. He came in the name of being invited into the tent. In the bottom of the deck is the Knight of Wands. Again, athleticism. We're all playing a sport. We're all here for the same thing. No harm in me sitting here. Okay? But at the same time, he was up for the challenge when they challenged him. He understood that, I'm standing my ground. You're not going to make me do something. I'm not doing anything wrong. I came in love. I came in peace. Okay. So what was the unseen catalyst that blocked de-escalation? So we're going to be explaining why a simple dispute over a school team tent boundary spiraled into lethal violence so rapidly. Why did it do this? It just felt like a clash of egos. It really does. Teenage boys, hormonal. The knights actually do represent hormonal teenagers. You have the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Cups. And they felt like he was a bit cocky or arrogant or too confident. They felt like he didn't belong there. Yeah, you have the Two of Cups here. Again, the Two of Cups can represent friendly energy. And we also got to look at that friendship that he thought he had with Eddie. This is usually somebody that you trust. So the catalyst is the friendship that blocked the escalation. Yeah, you have the Ten of Wands. So it was an uphill battle. There was no way that Karmelo was going to get out of this. For all of the people who saying he should have just left, even if he would have gotten up to leave, something would have still happened based on these cards. It was not going to be something as simple as, okay, he left. No. In fact, I don't think they ever asked Karmelo to leave 15 times. The way that Hunter Metcalf walked up to Karmelo, he rushed past everybody. He ran up the bleachers. He stood right over him in his face like he was chastising him like a child. You don't talk to another person that way. Who are you? You don't own the bleachers. Just because this is where your tent is set up doesn't mean you own the bleachers. And there's a way to diplomatically ask someone to leave. But remember, he was invited under the tent by this double-crossing Eddie. Let's see more. We have the Magician here. This is your willpower. And it does feel like Karmelo felt, you can't make me do something. Yeah, the three people are showing up here again at the bottom of the deck, the Three of Cups. So there's three main characters that we need to keep an eye on. The fourth one, I don't know who the fourth one is and why he's not being included in a lot of these cards, but there's three main players. We know the twins are three. I don't even, maybe that's even showing me Karmelo as the middleman between the twins. I don't know. But this is friendship. This is, celebrations, and they're at an event, which is what the Three of Cups is all about. The friendship here was the problem. The friendship that Karmelo thought he had with Eddie. He was betrayed by Judas. So now we're going to look at Austin's final moment. What was Austin's final state of mind before transitioning? The 911 audio and witnesses revealed frantic efforts by coaches and an Army veteran to keep him fighting as he lost consciousness. So what was his state of mind? Was there regret? Was there fear? Was there... I don't know. How was he feeling? We have the Empress and we have the Three of Wands. Now, he could have been thinking about his mother in that moment. This is the mother archetype. But the Three of Wands shows me, I feel like it can represent competitiveness. It can. But you know that the Empress is very loving, very caring, Taurus and Libra energy. I'm going to be honest with you all. I feel like he wishes he had handled it a different way, with love. The Empress handles everything with love. She's altruistic. She loves everyone. She represents Mother Earth, divine feminine energy. He said we could have gotten further if I had handled it with love. There was a better way to handle this. That was his last moments. This is what he was thinking. Show me more. How else were you feeling? The Two of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles, again, is playfulness, is balance. Again, I could have handled this another way. The Eight of Pentacles is about working through things in an effective way. I do feel like some part of him, the Eight of Pentacles is repetition, Virgo energy. But this Two of Pentacles gives me there could have been a different way we could have worked it out with more balance. Yeah. Okay. The bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords, which is the spirit guides. He was greeted by his spirit guides. I feel like this is a very spiritual card. And it talks about moving away from violence. Again, I could have handled this in a peaceful manner. This is about calming down. I should have calmed down. Wow. This is about getting rid of conflicts and difficulties, going with the flow. He's like, I should have been more peaceful and diplomatic. And this would not have escalated because now he's transitioned. I mean, this is literally a period of transition. And it is a very spiritual card. It represents your spirit guides and your spirituality. All right, the last question, I believe the last question. Well, we have two questions. So did Austin have a spiritual message for his family regarding forgiveness? His father has publicly emphasized messages of profound faith and forgiveness. I'm not even going to continue to read that because that's bullcrap. But let's see what does Austin's spirit have a message to his family to heal without being consumed by hatred? What does he have to say to his family? Looks like he's pointing out the mother here. Okay, the death card comes out. Yeah. Which is his transition. The Hermit card. He's telling them to be quiet, to go within, to pay attention to the lesson this was meant to teach them, to be introspective, to be careful what they say in the media, to be patient, to be prudent. He wants them to do things in moderation and make atonement. Virgo energy, Scorpio energy. He's saying be quiet, be quiet. What else? Hush. The Queen of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. I also feel like he's pointing out the money that they're making off of this. He's pointing out the money that they're making. He's saying that they're financially stable because of what happened. But this is the mother as well, the Queen of Pentacles, the nurturer, the caretaker. But he's pointing out the resources and how they're sitting pretty as a result of his death. That is so interesting. He's telling them to be happy, to move on with their lives. He's pointing out a trustworthy woman here. So again, he's pointing to his mother. He doesn't have much to say about his father. Let's see what he would have to say about his father before we ask the last question. What did he have to say about his father? The Four of Cups, he's ignoring him. He feels like there were missed opportunities for a good relationship here. He feels depressed. He feels like his father's depressed. I feel like a lot of drinking, possibly. He's saying that he's lacking motivation. Then he's pointing out the Queen of Wands here. He's pointing out his ego. He's pointing out the way he keeps speaking out of turn. And he's saying, be quiet. Hush. Hush. You're saying too much. You're doing too much. You're trying to get attention off of my death. Be quiet. He's depressed. He feels withdrawn from his father. He used to admire him. We have the Queen of Cups. He keeps pointing to the feminine energy. And now we have the King of Swords. He feels like his father was very strict. He didn't feel like he got a lot of nurturing from his father. But he's saying you keep talking. The King of Swords is very vocal. He's saying you keep talking. And he also wants them to be fair, be logical, be honest. He's saying be honest. Follow your heart and be honest here. King of Swords is about speaking with authority. It's clear communication. Yeah, he's telling him to listen to his intuition before he speaks. Okay, so what does the collective need to learn from this tragedy? This case sparked massive polarizing national debate surrounding youth violence, boundaries, and race. Ask the cards, what healing or awareness needs to come from this loss? So what do we need to learn collectively from this? I think keep your hands to yourself first and foremost. Yeah, that'll be a good place to start. Yeah, the Knight of Swords in reverse. Absolutely. Stop being followers. The Knight of Swords in reverse is a follower, somebody that presumes a lot, very impulsive. This is about fighting, quarrels. Like I said, keep your hands to yourself. It's aggression, blind faith, oppressive energy, violent energy, bad advice. Stop listening to the media. This is about being in a vacuum. Everybody thinking the same way. It's confirmation bias. People need to think outside the box here. Seek truth. So you're looking for information, not affirmation. It talks about impatience and selfishness and being persistent even when you're loud and wrong. Very argumentative energy. This is what we need to learn, how to slow down, hear each other out, handle situations diplomatically. We have the Tower, absolutely. So this is saying that there's a paradigm shift that needs to take place. The Tower is also argumentative energy. The devastation is also shocking revelations, but I feel like this is saying don't be so quick to jump to conclusions thinking you know everything. Listen to the facts of the case, even if they blow up your preconceived notions, because just because you have preconceived notions doesn't mean they're right. That goes for me, everybody listening, everybody talking about this. We don't know everything. We were not there. But again, the Tower is explosive, volatile arguments. It's sudden. It's an energy of suddenly doing something. He's saying that we need a recalibration. Spirit is saying recalibrate. Learn to agree to disagree. What else do we need to know collectively? We have the Five of Cups and the Ten of Swords. I feel like this is about processing emotions without going over the top. Being able to take a loss. Being able to let our egos subside and understanding that we're not going to win every battle and we should not try. Even when someone embarrasses us, humiliates us. And this could go for Karmelo too, because maybe, this doesn't escalate if he doesn't sit there, even though I believe it still would have. They came there to antagonize him. We have the Lovers and we have the Hangman, and this is about us loving each other. This is about us understanding the perspective needs to change. We all have to take a step back from these preconceived notions, these racial tensions and these class tensions and all of the foolishness that human beings engage in. So you're just saying love is the answer. We have to follow our heart. This is about our choices. Changing perspective before you make decisions. This is about relationships and friendships. Being sure that you can trust the people who are around you. Yeah. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Wands. And this is just saying enjoy the ride. You're here to have fun. We are perpetual children in the grand scheme of things. Every aspect, every age, we should all be having fun, enjoying life, being enthusiastic and friendly with one another. That's what it should be. All right, guys, that's where the reading will end. I will see you in my next reading. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave me a comment if you choose, and I will see you in my next video.